Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist and welcome. This is Rogue. Say hi, Rogue. Rogue hasn't been feeling good, have you? No? Is your back hurt? No, she just is reluctant to jump down and jump up places. She's getting old. But I don't know, maybe she tweaked her back or something, we'll see. She jumped down later on, so she's probably okay. I just worry. I'm going to adjust the camera. Anyway, I have some crochet, a lot of cross stitch, and I think I'm getting sick again. So isn't that fun? It's that time of year, isn't it, where we're inside and we just reinfect each other with stuff. So I'm going to start with my crochet just to get it out of the way because I have a big old stack of cross stitch stuff. So I decided to make these snowflakes. I don't know why. They're either, you could put a hook on them and they're an ornament, or you can lay them flat and they're a coaster. We'll see what I do with them. I don't know. And then I like the market bag I made so much. I made another one. I used the sugar and cream. I had one of those cones of it, and I used that for the majority of it, but then I wanted to add a little pop of color. So, yeah, this is a different pattern entirely. Opens up pretty wide. So, yeah. We'll see what I do with this. I don't know. I don't know why I'm crocheting some of the stuff I'm crocheting. My blanket. I put my blanket down in frustration yesterday because I'm not liking the top row. I'm making little Santa hats, and here's the little pom-pom on the Santa hat, and I don't know. I just kind of like wanted them to look, I don't know, less red coming through. And I did them the way it says. So I just quit with this much left to do. And I know that in other times on this, when I've been unhappy, if I just finish it and go on, then I stop concentrating on it. It's just when you're working on it, you're like, I want this to be like the picture. Not a picture, excuse me. Not a picture, but the video. But yeah, so maybe I crocheted these too loosely, this up here. I don't know. Maybe I'm crocheting this top row too tightly. We'll see. And I can't fit this in my bag anymore without consternation. It's too big. So after I finish the Santa hats, I have 3 more, for lack of a better word, rows. It's obviously more than 1 row. See, this is a sample of, I didn't like these when I made them, but now I'm like, they look cute. So I know it'll grow on me, so I'll just persevere. And it's just, I had to put it down yesterday. I was getting a little bit frustrated, and I was like, this is supposed to be fun. So I just decided to let it go. And I'll finish it tonight and move on to the next one, which I think is pine needles. I don't know. And then another one. And then the last row is angels. and I'm going to need to go buy more white. So there's something else I want at Hobby Lobby, and I'll just do the same thing. I'm trying to find a couple of threads, and I'll explain that later. And I'll just get them both at the same time. Excuse me. Sorry, little dog. I didn't mean to cough on you. Okay, so my cross stitch. Let me bring it closer. So I have been, today, I mean this week, my whole story has been frogging. I mean, the frog took up residence at my house. He moved in, sitting there watching TV, crossing his legs, all happy. I am not happy. So this is the pattern I'm working on. We do Geek. I needed to take a coughing break. So what happened was I was working on the word where right here. And I'm doing it there and back all the way across the word because it was easier. So I got to this row right here and realized I'd left off this whole thing of the H. I started the E too early, which meant I had to frog the whole word because since I'm doing it there and back, and I'm still doing it there and back because, you know, I'm foolish. So I had to frog all the way back to here, up here, so that I could add an extra row. I just was like, okay, I'm very frustrated now. This is supposed to be a Christmas present for my son. He knows I'm doing it. And he also knows it's not going to be done, but he's watching me do it, so there's that. I got him something small in addition, you know. And then the pattern I'm supposed to be concentrating on this month is Crismoose Berry by Erica Michaels. Oh, the last one is CrazzyStitch with 3 Z's. And I'm working on this berry. And I'm just plugging away at it. I added some more white back here just to break up the brown. And I've gotten the back leg here done, and I'm working on the 3 legs up here. And just plugging away and plugging away. I just had to do white to break up the monotony of the brown. And anything you do when you have to put that much in it, you just kind of go, oh. And I thought about outlining it, but I would just end up outlining it wrong. So I'm just stitching it. Okay, so like I said, frog took up residence. I wanted to start St. Nick's Berry, Erica Michaels, and I don't have any of my templates or anything here that I use to make sure I have enough fabric, to make sure I'm starting in the right place, you know, not too low, not too high. And I was concentrating on that, and what I did was I held up this next to the fabric so that I would know approximately where to start, that it was the right size and all of that. So I was concentrating on all that and didn't concentrate on if I was doing it on the right side of the fabric. So that is my little start, but I want it on this side. So I have to frog the whole thing. And I decided that I'll start this for real at some point in the future, because I'm not doing it again. And then under the sea temperature chart. So this is December. You see this little outlier here? I was on this row and I was supposed to stitch this here. Did I? No, I went to this row. So now the 31st is going to be this little guy. That's not the only problem. So there's the temperatures. Look how warm it's been. Unbelievably warm. But I was doing this rock. I fixed it since then, but I was doing this rock that the crab is going to sit on, and I counted it wrong, and I was like, more frogging? I'm trying to get this bottom row done, and am I successful in that? No, because I didn't remember until Saturday morning that I had to work on this. I think part of that is that I just haven't been feeling good. And then I'm working on so many other cross-stitch projects, I just forget. So, Flosstube Frenzy. The runner stitcher is assigned Silent Night. And I've gotten quite a bit done on this. I finally caught up. You know, he's doing Flossmas, and so he's posting a video every day. I haven't looked for today, so I'm going to have to do some more work. But one of those days, I spent putting some sparkle in the snowflakes. I didn't get to all of them. I just did some of them. And this snowflake is supposed to have, this is a white center on a blue snowflake. This snowflake is supposed to have a blue center. It does not. And I am not frogging that. So it's just going to have to stay white. And if people look at it and say, but that one should have a blue, you know what? They're not my friend. I'm just not going to, I'd have to frog most of the snowflake. And snowflakes are challenging enough without that. I could stitch it over it, but it's not that important. I assigned, and Silent Night is by Stitching with the Housewives. I assigned And to All a Good Night to Stitching with the Housewives. And it looks like I've done absolutely nothing since last week. But, again, I was adding the sparkle. That thread looks like this. It's an accentuate thread, and it's very shiny, see? But when you're stitching with it, it doesn't show up on top of so you have to be you have to really concentrate on where you are, because if you really examine it, you can see the sparkle, but it takes some concentration, so that took me a long time to work on that. But that's where I am on this. I think I also finished the bottom of this window. The bottom of the window is not going to have any sparkle, but the roof is. And the snowflakes always do. And yes, I put it in after, and I know it's double the work, but it ends up being less work for me, because I'm not trying to keep track of that thread while I'm stitching regular threads. I don't have to cut it and start again if I switch from the roof to the window, you know, that kind of thing. So Stitching with the Housewives aired their Paris journey yesterday, so I have this assigned to it, and I am not using the called for colors. I'm using a white and a light blue, and then this is the called for dark blue. Now, I had made this snowflake, or whatever this is, star. I had made it one row too short. I left out this longer row, and so when I was putting in this, I was like, why does it not look the same? So I had to frog it, go back and fix it, like I said. Every project, there's been some frogging. Well, not every project, but it felt like that. I did some work on hands-on design. There's a hare in my garden. It's assigned to Helen D. And I finished the second bunny. Well, I didn't finish it. He needs his white, but I did the brown on it. What is that on it? I don't know. Okay. So I need to do the back stitching on the plants, and I was going to go and do that right now, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just keep plugging away at the regular stitching and then do all the back stitching at once. Or maybe I'll do the back stitching now. I'm not sure. I don't know. I look at how much back stitching there is to do, and I'm like, if I get caught up on that back stitching, it'll make it look more finished, you know, what I've actually completed so far, but also I won't have to be doing all of that all at once later on. I did some more work. This is assigned to Stitching Mommy. This is Heaven and Earth Designs Mini Snowman Snuggles. And I should actually put a picture of last week's next to this week's so you could see the difference. But there's darker colors making the branches. That's what I was working on. I just did 2 threads, you know. Finding the threads, that's the challenge. So I have one more new start that I'm supposed to do in addition to the new start that I messed up for WhipGo, and that is Pueblo Pottery number 2, and I'm going to do this one here. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and start it. I don't know. But I was thinking I was going to start it on white, and I have a 16 count Ada or in white, or a 14 count Ada in an off-white. And either one would look good with this project. The pottery itself, while the parts that aren't painted are white, they're kind of not exactly white. So I would be fine with either one, but I'm thinking I'm leaning toward this one. I'm gonna cause a crap-a-lanch here. I have too much stuff. And then I wanted to do a Christmas start because I don't have enough on my plate. I need to add that, right? I want to start Not Even a Mouse. It's just, I bought this at the Jingle Ball, and it is so stinking cute. And I have this that I dyed myself, and it looks, you know, at first glance, you look at it and go, what color is that? But I think it'll go well with the pattern. But I am leaning toward this one, in this area on this one. And I held up the green that's used, and I think it'll be okay. I think it will look really awesome on this green. Drop me a comment and let me know which one you think will work well with that. I could get a brown like that, but I'm not really feeling the brown. I could dye a brown, you know. And when I dyed this, I just kind of was messing around. The original fabric, I think, was off-white. And I don't know why I made it this color. I had no plan. I just, you know, was just doing stuff. It's got kind of a blue and brownish hue. That's why I thought maybe that would go well, but this looks very Christmassy, doesn't it? There's other places where it's not as mottled, but I'm wanting to do it right in here. So that is everything. I'm going to move my crap over here so that it doesn't go sailing off that table. And so it goes sailing off of this table. Okay. So that is everything. I think one of the reasons why I had such a small start on St. Nick's Berry was because I was frustrated at not having how I normally start my berries. And I think I'm going to frog it and put it aside for when I actually have all of my templates and stuff, because it's not an emergency. It's nothing that I have to have done for any particular purpose. I just wanted to do it. And when it came down to it, I was like, I'm not enjoying this, which is why it's such a small start. And a lot of my starts are kind of like that. They've been really small starts. And I really, really, really want to work on Not Even a Mouse. And by Christmas Day, my son will have opened his Christmas presents, and I feel like I can take a step back from the CrazzyStitch one. I'll still work on it, don't get me wrong, it's his. And the last Pueblo pottery that I did, I finished it that same month. But I really, really like the Santa Clara pottery. And I like this pottery. It's they're very small. They're simple designs, and I need to just buckle down into it. And now that all my Christmas crochet and stitching and all that is completed, I think that I can concentrate more on my new starts. Hopefully I'll feel better, and yeah. And I think I gave myself a concussion. My sister and I were shopping, and I stood up, and I hadn't seen that there was a clothes display rack, and it was sticking out. There was no clothes on it, that one bar, and I hit myself pretty hard in the head right here. I mean, it was almost like the cartoons where you see the little stars going around and all that. And afterward, I was feeling like woozy isn't the right word, but I was feeling strange. And I told some employees, and I was like, I have a really bad headache all of a sudden, and I need some Tylenol. And I didn't have any in my purse. I always carry Tylenol with me, but it was out. And they said, well, we can't give you any. I said, I'll buy it. I just don't want to have to go get it and go find a container. I didn't want a big old container, just, a little one. And I didn't know where I would find that because I'm not used to that Walmart, and I'm still getting used to the Walmart that's closest to us now. And they went and got it, and they gave me a bottle of water so I could take it. And I just sat and waited for my sister to finish shopping. And I got up and made my purchases, and I drove us to Hobby Lobby, and I didn't even go inside. I was just and I never not go inside Hobby Lobby. But I was just like, I don't feel good. Um, and when I came back, I tried to stitch, and I just couldn't concentrate, and I ended up feeling like I was very strange. And I made sure my needle was in my project and fell asleep for a few hours. I wasn't sleep deprived, so I'm like, I think I gave myself a concussion. um, and I told them I wasn't complaining. It was my fault. I didn't see it. It was also their fault because there were no clothes fronted on it. But I wasn't gonna put up a big stink. I just wanted their help getting some Tylenol so that I could feel better. And after a while, it stopped hurting so bad, and the headache went away, and, after I slept. So, and, have a little lump, if I push on it, it's painful, but it's going down. It's not, it's not horrible. I just need to be more careful when I'm in the clothing areas of any store. You have to just be on the lookout, because had I been this much taller, I'd have hit myself in the eye. I hit myself as I was standing up. That's why it was on the top of my head. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Be safe. People are rushing around and they're drinking, and just please be safe. This time of year, people just, they're not paying attention to other people. They're just wanting to go to their parties, and there's so many drunk drivers this time of year. So now with Uber and stuff, people are more likely to take a ride share or something like that. More likely isn't always. So I pray that you guys will all be safe and you have a great Christmas, and all your plans for Christmas come true. And I hope Santa brings you some great gifts. And I'll talk to you in a week. Bye.